Top 10 fat loss habits to get you shredded. Sean here from Fit Fusion Brotherhood. I've owned a gym for 10 years. I've coached thousands of clients, and one of the most interesting things to look back on is what do these clients have in common? And in this video today, I'm going to talk about their habits. What specifically do they do differently than those who aren't as successful? And I'm going to give you the reverse order of importance. So I'm going to give you 10 fat loss habits that you should implement if you're looking to get shredded. Okay, so number 10 on the list would be objective measures or metrics of progress. So it's not about just having a good plan. It's about whether or not you're able to execute this plan. So what do I mean by that? If you're training for fat loss, then you want something to tell you whether or not it's working. It can be a scale, it can be your body fat percentage measurements. If you want to get stronger, you want to track your weights to see if you're actually getting stronger. If you want to move more, then track your steps and really get that movement down. But either way, the really successful people have metrics to track their progress, and these metrics should be objective, not subjective. Number 9, be proactive with social events and weekends. The reason I'm bringing this one up is because these are typically where most guys fall off, and then they struggle to get back on track. So you can be really good 6 days of the week, but if you have one social event or one party or a get together or whatever it is, that can completely derail you and negate the entire 6 weeks, the entire week beforehand. So what really successful people do is they have a plan. They're very proactive. So they can adjust the week beforehand to kind of give them that extra little bit of flexibility with what they're doing on the weekends or their social events. Or if things do spiral, they always have a plan to get back on track. They have contingencies and they know exactly what to do in order to kind of anticipate these things beforehand. Okay, so it's all about understanding what these triggers might be for you and having a plan beforehand, but also contingency plans for if and when things don't go according to plan. And also being able to kind of generate some positive momentum and get back on track. Number 8, consistent meal times. This makes a big difference because number 1, our body thrives on circadian rhythms, which means the more consistent we are with everything, so when we go to bed, when we wake up, but also when we eat, the better we're going to feel, the better our body actually operates. So the more consistent you are with your meal times, the better it is for your circadian rhythm, but also you develop a much more consistent routine, which makes your progress so much more predictable and reliable. So I know not everyone has the ability to be super consistent with their schedule, but if you do have any sort of ability to control that, try to have relatively consistent meal times. They do make a big difference. Number 7, prioritize nutrient-dense foods. This one seems obvious. It's all about prioritizing whole foods or things that are actually good for you, because we get so kind of caught up in this whole tracking calories, making sure your macros are hit, and those are obviously super important, that sometimes we really let the nutrient-dense whole foods kind of take a back seat. And the most successful people I know, they do eat a lot of whole foods and nutrient-dense foods. These are going to make you feel better. They're also going to make you look better as well. So it's not just about looking at numbers. It's also about foods that are going to make you feel great as well. So they do prioritize nutrient-dense foods, and you should as well. Number 6, they minimize or eliminate liquid calories. So liquid calories would be like soda, would be juice, it would be alcohol. You're trying to minimize these as much as possible. The exceptions that I would have to this would be coffee. I typically drink my coffee black. If you're going to add some sugar, cream to it, make sure it's very minimal. And then protein shakes as well. So protein shakes, going back on what I said with the last one, so nutrient-dense food and healthy, those would be the exceptions. But anything that are outside of those, or most things outside of those, I really would try to minimize or eliminate as much as possible, because almost always you can get whatever benefit you think you're getting from the juices or the sodas in some sort of food as a much better alternative. Number 5, drink water first thing in the morning. So most people are dehydrated and really struggle to get enough water. You're going to be mostly dehydrated in the morning as well compared to any other part of the day. So the first thing I do when I wake up is I chug 2 big glasses of water to get me off to a right start. My suggestion to you, try to front load your water intake as much as possible. That way you don't have to stress about getting as much water in later in the day when life gets crazy. So number 5, drink water first thing in the morning and front load your hydration. Number 4, sleep 7 to 9 hours. There's a very strong correlation between how much men sleep versus their body composition. This has direct and indirect implications. Now, I know you're not going to be able to control everything when it comes to sleep, but it is important to prioritize it because you're much less likely to snack. You're much more likely to have your hormones regulating at a much better level, and you're just going to feel better, and you're going to train better, you're going to make better decisions. So prioritize sleep. It does matter. Number 3, they aim for 10,000 steps or more per day. So this is more about just prioritizing movement. So for some people, 10,000 steps is a lot. For others, it's nothing at all. The most successful people I know, they track their movement, they make it a point, a priority, and they ensure that this never is something that kind of goes on the back burner. So the number that we kind of like to use here is 10,000 steps, but it's relatively arbitrary. The whole point is prioritizing movement. Number 2, they lift 3 to 4 times per week. So strength training is the foundational element of their workout routine. This is going to help you obviously get that body composition you want, but there are also a lot of studies that show first of all, we know that people who lose weight notoriously gain it back. But the one caveat there is the people who actually strength train and do lifting are much more likely to keep the weight off than those who only lost the weight through nutrition alone. So prioritize strength training 3 to 4 days per week. And then number 1, protein with every meal. This is one thing that I think almost any guy that I've met for the first time getting into a coaching program is going to struggle with, and that's being protein deficient. Because most of us think we're getting enough protein, but typically it's nowhere close to the level that I would suggest to my clients. And one of the best ways to kind of get a good start on that, a good jump on that, is to make sure you're getting protein with every single meal. That includes snacks. Anytime you're eating something, make sure there's protein with it. And then once you start to get comfortable with that, you can actually start to track and implement, really emphasizing and prioritizing your protein intake. So there you have it, guys. Those are the top 10 fat loss habits if you're looking to get shredded. If you enjoy videos like this, do us a huge favor, like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.